Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of the Kontext Coffee Chat. I am speaking with our Ugandan friends today. We've sourced an Arabica from Uganda for the first time this year. And Anna Lina Bartl from Mulembe Kaffee in Hanover was kind enough to share this lot with us. And today we are meeting and speaking to one of the producers of this lot and to Anna Lina's colleagues in Uganda. Hello, guys.
Hello.
As I said, I'm Katja. I'm the founder of Kontext Coffee. And how about we start with a little round of introductions just to get to know each other. Anna Lina, do you want to start?
Do we start from Uganda or Germany?
All right.
Yeah,
go ahead.
We could start here as well. So I am Anna Lina, the founder of Mulembe Kaffee. So in Uganda, we are connected with Stephen and Priscilla, who are supporting the farmers on ground. And today we have a short interview with them in the field from Goozi.
Amazing. All right, who have we got in Uganda, in Goozi then? Oh, the connection seems to be a little bit shoddy. Let's give it a moment.
We have Mai here. She doesn't speak English. She's not, so she's going to. Her name is Beatrice Mafabi. She's the wife of our farmer, Mafabi Joseph.
And in the background, these are the little, the children, the whole
neighborhood.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Oh, lovely to meet you. I'm afraid we missed the first few minutes, though. Priscilla, would you mind introducing yourselves again? We got back online when you introduced Beatrice, but we missed you guys.
Oh, okay. I am Priscilla Nagudi. I am the administrator and facilitator for Mulembe Cafe on ground. And
this is Stephen Tumukugize, quality officer, quality and field officer for Mulembe.
Amazing.
And then now this is the farmer.
Mafabi Joseph, farmer from Mulembe Cafe.
Mulembe.
I'm so excited to meet you. Guess what I'm drinking here, Joseph?
Oh, it's good.
Guess what this is? This is your coffee. It's really lovely to meet you. And
nice to meet you too.
Where are you at the moment?
So we are in the Mount Elgon region in a place called Blambuli in a village called Goozi, where Mafabi stays. We are at his farm.
Oh, great. Can you maybe turn the camera and give us a little look around?
Okay. How do I turn? Oh, it can't turn. Oh, I have to just turn the camera. Apparently, it doesn't have the back view. But this is part of the family of Joseph.
Oh.
And then this is his house here. And then this is now part of the garden for coffee. These are coffee berries. They are not yet ripe. They are still green. We had the flowering stage earlier. So this is the green stage. And then we shall have the ripening the red cherries later. This is part of the farm. We shall go and enter the big farm.
Great. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It's very mountainous, as you can see ahead.
Oh, yes. Wow. What a view.
Yeah.
Amazing. How big is Joseph's garden? How many coffee trees does he have?
He is going to answer that. It is.
Yes.
Yes. We are getting to the farm. So most of the terrain, as you can see, is steep. It's not flat.
Yeah.
It is steep. So you're either sloping down or you're going up.
It's quite hard to move around then, huh?
Yeah, it is. But we are now used. So the farmers also have other projects that they do apart from coffee. They have some animals here, the cattle.
What kind of animals are they? Cattle?
This is cattle, a cow.
Yeah. And now I
Both
see them.
are both.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then partly there is we are also implementing organic on our farm. So this is also where they get their fertilizer.
Manure, yeah.
For the farm. Yes, and there is a pig over there. And this is where all the waste goes to. And we turn it into manure for the farm.
Amazing. So no,
Yes.
I mean, Anna Lina, we've talked about this briefly, but no chemical fertilizers, no pesticides, anything like that. You only use organic material for your fertilizers and manure.
Yes.
And only things that that are basically waste products off Joseph's farm, or do you have to buy in any other organic components for your fertilizers?
The only thing that we buy sometimes is the enzyme to put in this. But often it is done naturally. So we don't buy anything else. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the enzyme
because it is done naturally, it just comes and
perfect. And I see loads of other trees in amongst the coffee trees as well. Huh? Do I see banana?
Yeah, so they crop plant with bananas. And then during some seasons, they also plant there some beans as a supplier for nitrogen within the same farm.
All right.
And then they also put some maize there to support their family with food. So it's not just coffee. Yeah, they do the banana, they do the maize, sometimes groundnuts, sometimes beans. And these are almost ready. So it supplies their family with food, but the nitrogen is also good for the coffee.
Yeah. Do they sell some of the other crops as well, or just the coffee?
So for some of those questions, we shall have Joseph also interjecting an answer, since we are on his farm. It is best that he also answers some of those questions.
Yes, please. Definitely.
Yeah, she was asking if some of these beans and maize and other crops that you plant on the farm, you also sell them, or it's just for your family?
Most of them are for my own consumption. These other crops that I grow, like beans and the maize, are for my home consumption.
Yeah, all right. But at the same time, they feed the coffee as well, right?
Yes.
It's a family system then. Oh, we leave there.
Yes, most of them grow their own food.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. How far away are you from the next bigger town? Or can you buy food in Goozi as well?
Yes, there are retail shops there that sell ready-made foods like flour, maize flour, for example, like wheat flour, like rice, like millet.
Perfect.
But that is they only buy it in seasons where they're not planting, for example, maize. If it is season for maize, they will eat from their own farm.
That makes sense. Good system.
Yeah.
You have a beautiful farm, Joseph, for sure. It looks stunning. Anna Lina tells me that it's rainy season over there right now, huh? You're expecting rain to come in a couple of hours.
Yes.
Yes. Exactly.
It doesn't look like it. It looks like a beautiful, bright morning.
Yeah, that is how it looks like. But in a few hours, if we take long on this call, you'll see the clouds gathering around.
And
because we are on high altitude, you can easily see when the rain is coming.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Is the rain important for the coffee?
Is rain important for the coffee?
Yes, it is. Except that when it is too much, it is not.
It's and is that a problem? Do you get too much at the moment, or is it just enough?
At the moment, it is enough. Because it has to support the berries to grow well.
To grow and ripen, yeah. But is the rainy season changing? Can you is there a connection obviously with climate change? Is the weather changing in Goozi? Or the climate, I should say, not the weather.
Is it now changing? Is it different from the years? Is there changing climate or is it constant?
Actually, the rain is not the weather. The climate sometimes changes because at times it might be in excess, sometimes not enough, but at least it's moderate.
For example, we used to during November and December in the past years, it used to be dry season. But over the last few years, I think the last 2 years, we have been getting rain up to December almost. So you notice that there is a small change in the climate as well. And even when it comes to the rainfall, we used to start receiving the rainfall in around March, April, yeah. But at times we get delays and you get the rainfall in the late April, maybe March, you finish March with the dry season. Yeah, so there is a bit of a climate change, I can say.
And do you notice an impact on the development of the coffee berries? Is that changing?
It affects because during the flowering season, we don't usually need a lot of rainfall. So when the weather climate changes and it starts raining in the months the coffee is flowering, you find that a lot of flowers are washed out, and you find that the fruiting process is affected. And when it comes to the ripening also, we also at that stage it does not need a lot of rainfall. But due to climate change, you find at times some months come and the coffee is supposed to be in the ripening stage and rain is much. So you find some of the cherries are actually affected. Sometimes you find they are soaked with a lot of water and they are taking also too long to ripen. So it affects somehow, yeah.
All right. But I know that, or maybe you can tell me, but Anna Lina and I have had conversations before that you are working with topics like climate change, and that you are implementing strategies and making changes in order to make sure that producers like you, Joseph, can keep growing coffee going forward. No? Can you tell us a little bit about some of those safeguarding strategies for the changes that you're experiencing?
So one of the, I will show you, for example, on this tree, it is already time for green coffee, but if you notice, this tree does not have a lot of berries. It only has maybe like a little here. And that was because during the dry season, there was a lot of sun and this dried off. So they did not receive enough rain. And for this tree, for example, this branch, which one? Yeah. For this tree, for example, where it is, the other tree did not have a shade. Where it is, there is a shade tree of a banana. Yeah?
Yeah.
So there is a difference with this. The flowers were protected and now it has some berries.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so so it is on one farm, but for one tree that is having a disadvantage, it is not under a shade tree, it will be affected by a lot of sun. And even when the rain comes,
I think the connection is a bit
shoddy. Yeah, I mean, they're on mobile network, aren't they?
Yeah.
not be they would be protected. And then implementing like the growth and encouraging the growth of fruit trees on the farm. So these work in two ways. They act as a source of food and they also curb the issue because the children, as you saw, we have a lot of children.
Yeah.
Do you know what she was gonna say? So source of food makes sense, but the part about the children, I'm really curious.
Maybe it was about the future generation.
Okay.
Could be. Well, I'm not very sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But we could also ask her to a little bit introduce on how we work with the defects and could be, I don't know.
Hello.
Hello, Priscilla. We missed a part, so we don't know what was it about the children that you wanted to say.
Oh, I was saying that the fruit trees are also used on the farm for the children and even the parents to feed on. So we also fight the issue of malnutrition on the farm.
Okay.
but they also act as shade trees for the coffee trees. And then what we are doing is diversifying their income, because coffee is a seasonal crop. So we diversify their income by implementing beehives on their farm, so that a farmer is able to get honey to also feed their family, but they also sell and get money because it is a high value product. They sell and get money. And also we are implementing vanilla and cocoa on their farms. So initially there was no vanilla and cocoa in the Mount Elgon region, but we are now starting to implement it with their farmers. We started last year and their seedlings are growing. So with time, they would not be relying on only coffee, because as you saw, they are not selling their beans. They just, or maize, they just grow it to eat. So with time, they will also have, apart from coffee, they will have another high value product, that is vanilla and cocoa, for them to sell and get some income. So there is diversification. And that way, if climate change has affected their coffee, at least they will have backup in form of cocoa and vanilla.
Yeah, that's amazing. And is Joseph
Also-
part of that project
Yeah,
as well? Is he growing?
Also, additionally to the climate change, as she has mentioned, the encouragement what we are doing on planting of trees, additional trees on the farm to increase on the coverage of the green. We are also doing, we are also into research as Mulembe to get more. There are more varieties, much better varieties. Actually, we even had a meeting with Anna last week. There is a variety, other varieties we are researching on that we think can do much better in times like this. The coffee varieties.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. That can do much better in case of effects of the climate change to withstand all this. So we are also getting into that. In the nearby future, I think we shall be introducing some of these other varieties to be planted. Yeah.
You were asking a question to Joseph?
Yes. Let me think. What was I going to ask?
It was about if he's participating in the vanilla and cocoa project.
Yes, sorry. Yes, exactly. Joseph, are you growing vanilla as well and cocoa?
In fact, the program has just started, but I'm going to try it.
Amazing! How exciting! How long have you been working with Mulembe Kaffee?
How long have you been working with Mulembe Kaffee?
Actually, this is this is coming to almost like the 4th year now.
The 4th? 4 years?
4 years.
This is the 4th year.
Yeah. All right. And then I assume that vanilla and cocoa, those are 2 plants that that are part of your work with Mulembe, or is that something that you would have taken up on your own as well?
Ati cocoa ni vanilla. These projects ziri this Mulembe Kaffee yaleeta namwe it is something you did or you can do on your own? But you can tell her. I was trying to explain to him the question so he understands better, so he's ready to answer.
This is the project which was introduced by Mulembe Kaffee, because for us in the mountains, we are not used to this other program like vanilla, cocoa, but they have introduced to us now. We are trying to adapt them just.
All right. And is there any other benefits to your collaboration with Mulembe? What has changed for you on your farm since you have been working with Mulembe?
Like, since you started working with Mulembe, are there benefits you have got with Mulembe? What has changed on your farm since for the 4 years you've said.
In fact, a number of changes have taken place. So I've really appreciated Mulembe Cafe for having incorporated us in their system. One, they have helped us by buying our coffee because it was at a very low price, but they have helped us. Again, they've introduced some other projects like now the cocoa, vanilla, which we are also adapting, and we are soon going to get more money in these projects.
Great. That sounds like a
Yeah.
good collaboration.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
exactly.
for the
There's good collaboration with them. Many
for the
times they are coming,
case-
even they're educating us in the field. They're teaching us what to do.
Good.
So for the case of vanilla and cocoa, at first we implemented them in 2 phases. The first was the prototype to see if it will work, and we are using it as a research method as well. And the first implementation, the farmers were not so adaptive to it because they had a lot of negative mindset. So what we have been doing is changing that mindset around the area. We first started with a few farmers. I think they were 10, and then they were really not positive towards it. So we took them for an exposure visit to another farm who was also in a different region, in a different district, to study so that their mindset can change and finally they can adopt this. And yeah, they are now willing to do it, and we are now continuing to do it. It's a process.
Good. I mean, that's just human, isn't it? As human beings,
Yeah.
we were hesitant to change. So I can absolutely relate to that. But I'm glad to see that you're happy to try new things, because as the climate is changing, I imagine it must be scary to see that some of your coffee trees just aren't giving you the same yield anymore, right? With more exposure to sun and less rain, or sometimes too much rain. It must be quite scary.
What I did. He's saying like chirichirai, you adopting to those new methods. Lokubazimani so bere, was it giving you the same yields as the years before due to if raingali too much rainy, mumugali na muchifuna the same yield?
The yield is not the same.
So you can answer.
Actually, the yield is never the same due to climatic changes. The yield is never the same. Sometimes when the rain is moderate enough and good enough, we get good yields. But if the rain is too much, sometimes affects the yield.
Yeah.
And even when it's dry and when it's so low, it can also affect the yield. So the yields are never the same. They're not stable.
So you're also used to the yield going up and down. It's always been that way?
Are you used to the yields going up and down? Sometimes low, sometimes
Actually, as a farmer, my target is to have yields going up. But due to some climatic changes where you can get affected slightly, but I'm wishing that the yield should be continuing to climb.
Yeah. And I mean, we've just heard from Stephen that they are looking into new coffee tree varieties that might be well, more resilient to the climate changes and might help with that as well. Is that something that you would consider, to maybe try different varieties of coffee on your farm to see if you get higher yields that way?
Have you understood? She's saying, Stephen mentioned that there are new varieties just because I've been introducing on your farm that are adaptive to climate change. Would you like to try some of those new varieties if there is chance?
Actually, there are trials which they are carrying out, but in case they go through, I'm ready to adapt and also try them, because that's why I'll increase my yields.
Yeah. Good. Well, I can tell you that your coffee tastes absolutely delicious. and
That's very good.
I've only just started to roast it and sell it, but a lot of my customers are already loving it. I've had really positive feedback on it, and they are really happy with it.
That's very
Maya
good.
tizimwanyi zemezi ndayi atandikire kuzikaranga ni kuzitunda era abantu baziganyire nabi bazigana zimwanyi zenye bati ziri zindayi.
Good.
Does Beatrice work on the farm as well? Does she help with the coffee harvest?
But nawe uyedako baba kuzimwanyi kuyedako kulima muzimwanyi. She says yes.
And what does she do? What is her task?
But ukola chini mulimo gw'okuzimwanyi kyo chini.
Kulima kuzimwanyi
Kufuna kwene.
kwanise.
She says she does the digging, she
Alright.
does the harvesting, like weeding the farm. She does the harvesting and also like drying, even selling. Sometimes I am buying from her, not him.
All right. So a good division of labor. What's left for,
Yes.
for Joseph to do then? If Beatrice does all this, what does Joseph do?
But no, kalirira.
Of course, me, I do like pruning, also weeding, pruning, weeding. Because the other work like slashing, where she can need to do, I can help her do that. Picking, we do the same, sorting, pulping, and other activities. So as they involved is the processing of coffee.
Always lots of work on a farm, no?
Yeah. And for them, they do the heavy part that the mother cannot do. For example, when it comes to pruning the coffee, sometimes we don't advise them to dig because you're disorganizing the system of the soil, so they just slash. For weeds like this is a blackjack. I don't know if you're well versed with it. So
No,
for this, yeah, for this they can just slash. When they take out their beans, instead of digging, as you can see, the soil is very soft during dry season, and you'll see some earthworms here. I don't know if you see it.
It's hard to see, but yeah, we can see like clumps of soil. Yeah. Oh, there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Earthworms. Yes.
Yeah, you've seen. Yeah.
No.
So if they dig right now, it will be disorganizing this soil system. So it's better they just slash, and normally it is the fathers now doing that part of slashing.
All right. Yeah, so the more physical part of the labor, heavier physical labor. And I imagine because you just said when we were walking down into the plantation, you said it's quite steep. So I imagine that just carrying all the harvested coffee beans up and down the slopes must be very tiring as well, no? Do you do that just by hand, or do you have any kind of machinery to help you haul the harvest up or down the mountain?
But nga kuli harvesting, since it is mountainous, nga kumwogesera it is hilly. When you're harvesting, do you have machines, or how do you carry it back home?
We just carry on the head, on the back. We don't have those improved machines that can carry. Actually, the terrain does not allow us to move here and there with those other machines, but we just use our own labor by carrying.
Wow, yeah. Hard work.
It's hard work, really.
Yeah.
It's hard work.
Do you enjoy farming though? Do you enjoy growing all of these different crops? And
Beatrice says she enjoys it. It's part of her life.
Good. Oh, good. How about wildlife? What kind of animals live on your farm other than your cattle? What kind of wild animals do you have on your farm?
Have you understood that? Like bisolo bikali byeyango damu bakoni bisolo ngeresi bote babone luzinji ngeresi kuli mu luzinji. Do you have any wild animals that live on your farm, whether small or big?
Maybe small rats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says maybe rats, but there are no. Yeah.
Yeah, small animals like rats. Of course, those are almost. There's no way we can avoid living with them. And then monkeys around the cliff areas.
All right. How about birds and insect populations? I would imagine that with just like with your bees, they are quite important for pollination of the coffee trees, but also of the other fruit trees, no?
Katya, as you're saying, the bee, it's there. Do you see it pollinating?
Oh, no. I'm not sure we can see that, but it's really good to know.
I couldn't capture it well, but it was here just pollinating the flowers of the beans. So they have the bees on the farm, and they also have birds that stay in different trees, like that one.
Actually, there is
Yeah.
a nest here of
There is one there, down there, a tree. And there is a nest of a bird here. We might dismantle it, but it's in the coffee tree. You see it?
It's hard to see. I think the connection is a bit on and off. Oh, yeah, now I see it. Yes.
So it is a home of very many
The whole ecosystem.
animals.
Yes. And because I imagine with coffee, there are also always certain types of coffee diseases and pests that can cause problems. Is that something that the birds can help with, for example? Any kind of bugs that you don't want on the coffee? Do the birds eat them?
Sorry, I have to explain because of the accent. Sometimes he's not getting it.
Of course.
Like zimanyi nga ziriko obuwuka like zikatapira oba binaano bunywinywi bukuyeddako to eat them.
These birds sometimes help the biologically eat them. They feed on the caterpillars and some other small like ladybirds, which are also found on the coffee. They are eaten by birds. So they have an advantage. That's why sometimes we don't chase them here and there.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any diseases, any coffee diseases that may cause defects in the coffee as well? Anything like the coffee borer beetle or coffee rust, coffee leaf rust, anything like that that cause issues on your plantation?
Do you have if you have some diseases on the farm that are causing?
There are some diseases that we experience most severely is the CBD, that is coffee berry disease.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, leaf rust is not all that very common. It is rare.
Yeah, the leaves here are very
maybe
fresh.
some leaf defoliators. Those are some parasites that defoliates the leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can see an example here.
Yeah, but mostly, I think the last season, this area, the Mount Elgon area, was actually affected so much. Almost 80% of the farms were affected by the coffee berry disease. But in the good news, what I'm seeing on the farm is they have been able to follow most of the trainings we have been giving them, because it is usually controlled. The coffee berry disease is mostly controlled by hygiene, keeping hygiene on the farm. And these are some of the trainings we have been giving them after harvesting the coffee, making sure that they keep the farm so hygienically good. They reduce on the spacing, on the increase on the spacing of the trees, the trimming of the unnecessary excess branches. So I am seeing the coffee is now fruiting very well. And,
actually, these are some of the measures. If one branch is diseased, you can cut it off, prune it off.
Yeah, there is another one here that was just stamped. Yeah, the stamping also.
Because of the coffee berry, the stem borer, you see it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
so
yes.
Cut it.
But we are working hand in hand with the farmers, making sure that we follow up in the field. We are always in the field every week to monitor. We do monitor these farms every week. At least Mr. Mafabi can witness that. Making sure that we are training them, and we are also following up on whatever we are training them to be implemented on the farm.
Can you tell us a little bit about what causes coffee berry disease?
Coffee berry disease is a fungi disease. It's called by fungi, which is usually developed or it grows due to humidity. Most cases, when the season is too cold and there is a lot of water on the farm, it breeds so much the growth of the fungi, and it affects the cherries during the development and ripening. Especially during the ripening, they just dry instead of ripening. You just dry. I think we can show you some of the yeah. So you find them just dried like this on the trees.
On the tree.
Instead of instead of ripening, they just dry like this. So you can hardly find a bean inside. So it affected a lot of farms last season, but we have been able. We have a lot of hope that this season we have been able to do a lot to curb it, and I know we shall be able to completely resist and fight it.
So this is the solution to this is, as you said, hygiene measures. So spacing the trees.
Hygiene is like I can say it is a preventive measure. But when the coffee, when the farm has been affected so much, there are some pests, some organic fungicides that we use, and but these ones we normally encourage to use them when the farm is really affected so much. But the first measures are usually preventive measures, as I've told you, making sure that the farm is really having enough space and it's very hygienic, which I believe is even more cost effective than the organic fungicides, because they are actually so much expensive here on the local market. Yeah.
All right. And
so this is these are some of the ripe cherries that we have gotten on the farm.
They look much better, yes, than the dried up ones.
Yeah. So this is a fresh one. These are fresh cherries. These ones are okay. These ones are good.
And obviously, other than producing the coffee that we know over here, that we know and roast, do the producers do anything with the cherries themselves as well? Do they eat them or cook with them or make marmalade or anything like that?
But akali kukola zimanyi wakutunda, and you get money. What else do you do with this cherry? Akali kutunda. Ningakukozesa bisamakola. Nengokozesa china. oba emmwanyi ogikozesa kina, what do you use it for apart
Nayo
from
ma.
selling?
From saying,
Mm.
nakunywa kwa kahawa.
He says they also take some of the coffee. Kina
For
kino.
yourself to drink it?
But
Do you
mostly,
drink
of
your
course,
own coffee?
it's a cash crop, but we also take little just. We also use little.
Nekiko
Papa,
oba okikozesa kino.
this is the coffee husks. So they are used as manure.
As manure, okay. Yeah. But
Yeah.
you don't eat the cherries off the tree.
Actually, it has got some sugars in it, but we don't usually we don't because these are small fruits. We don't. It take longer to get satisfied. We choose them.
All right. And maybe one more question about the organic fungicides that you mentioned, Stephen.
Yes.
Is that something that you have to, if you weren't able to manage the coffee berry disease just by preventative measures, and it does come up and overwhelms the farm, do you have to buy the organic fungicides, or is that something that you can make yourselves as well?
Currently, we have been using two formulas. There is a fungicide that is already certified by the National Drug Authority, and it is in the area. It is, I think, the only organic fungicide that we are having. But that one is for buying. We buy it. We had a trial last year. We made our own. We tried to make our own organic fungicide, and the results did not come out quite well to our expectations. So I think we are planning on having some more improvement. Yeah, some improvement and more research this season. Yeah. So what we are actually targeting in the future, because as we told you that we are taking the farmers from the non-organic agriculture. Most of the things that are available on the market here are synthetic. Basically, they are chemical based. So having the options of organic, it requires getting some of these organic fungicides and pesticides, and they are a little bit more expensive. So as Mulembe Kaffee, our plan is to develop our own, and in the next coming years, we can have our own fungicides and pesticides organically certified that we can be using on our farms to reduce also on the cost, because I'm sure these ones we can even be distributing to the farmers at zero cost. Yeah.
And is that the recipe for those organic fungicides? Would that be something that farmers might be able to actually make themselves on their farms with the manure organic waste they have?
Yes. Yeah, because one of the major components is actually urine from either rabbits or also from cattle. Yeah, as one of the other components for the fungus.
All right. Now you're back. You were gone for a second. I was saying I can tell that you're doing a lot of important work in a lot of different areas that I imagine will help many of the producers in so many different areas. And yeah, Joseph, for you, I would imagine that without Mulembe, a lot of these improvements would be really hard to implement. Is that something that you can confirm?
What's the meaning? She's asking for all these improvements that we have talked about and the benefits that come with Mulembe Kaffee. Would you have implemented them on your own, or without Mulembe Kaffee? Or it's something that Mulembe Kaffee?
That's something Mulembe Kaffee has contributed so much to.
Now, these are all these innovations that are going on for improvement. We are adapting them, and we shall not even use them because the cafe is telling us to do, but for our benefit or for our good of the coffee and the production, we need to adapt them, and therefore we have very welcomed them so that we use them to improve on our yields.
Yeah. And do you sell your coffee to someone else as well, or does all of your coffee from your farm go to Mulembe Kaffee?
But the coffee that you have is local produce. Do you sell to other buyers as well, or only to Mulembe Kaffee?
Not all the coffee is taken by Mulembe Kaffee. Some is also bought by some other organic buyers.
Okay. And do you?
There are some other buyers that you also buy.
And do you personally, do you drink your own coffee as well?
Do you drink
your own coffee?
Yes, very well. We also do take it.
And how do you roast it? Over the fire?
For us, we have of course a local way of roasting it.
On fire in a saucepan.
Then the fire, and then you pound locally because you don't have those machines for making it very fine.
Right.
Instead, we just pound with using the mortar.
Yeah. And then do you just brew it in a cup? Do you just put the coffee in a cup and water on top, or how do you brew it?
But how do you prepare the coffee? How do you prepare it to drink? Because you have some machine.
That one goes to mud. Now this one, after pounding, for us you get maybe there's that small spoon. You scoop one, put in the cup, then you boil the water and you also put it there. Actually, we don't prefer because it has already got some sugars. We just usually take it almost dry. We don't put there sugars with sugar.
All right. Yeah, I mean, that's the same here. Some people drink it black, some people add sugar or milk even. But
some people put in milk.
I like it black.
You enjoy it black also.
Black without.
Yes, I enjoy it
without
black.
Sugar.
Without sugar.
Yeah.
Very nice when it's just black.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time today to talk to us. And I hope and wish that at some point in the future, maybe we can enjoy a cup of your coffee together.
It's good. Nice time.
But Wanyala for having the talk today, and in future she hopes that you will enjoy the coffee together with Anna.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for all your hard work and for producing such beautiful coffee. Thank you so much to both you and Beatrice.
You're welcome.
Beatrice is also here. Wanyala. Thank you. Wanyala is thank you in the Lugisu language.
How do you pronounce
Wanyala?
Wanyala.
Wanyala. Anna knows it. She will teach you. Yes.
Wanyala.
Wanyala.
Yes.
Wanyala.
Wanyala.
Wanyala mai.
Hey, Wanyala.
Thank you
All
to
right,
both
thank
of
you,
you as
team.
well, Priscilla and Stephen, for taking the time and explaining everything to us. We really appreciate it, and it's very, very interesting. I could keep talking to you for hours, but I know that rain is coming, so I will leave you and hope that you get down the mountain safely today.
Yeah, the clouds are already, let me show you an example. When we came down, it was clear, but now let me go and show you at the end. The weather is now changing. They are becoming darker and thicker.
Scary.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, we can see them.
Yeah, you see,
Yeah,
just for the 1 hour,
they are
it was
coming.
clearer before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's getting darker.
Well, it's good for the coffee, but make sure you're
Yes.
safe and don't have to swim
Yeah.
down the mountain.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
All right.
and,
Thank you. Thank you
hopefully
for
we'll get a
supporting
chance to
Mulembe
meet.
Cafe.
Thank you for making beautiful coffee.
You're welcome. We really
Alright.
appreciate your support for us and the farmers. Thank you for buying our coffee.
It's a great project. Keep up the great work,
Thank
and I hope that you can contribute to a better future for your producers and
Yes.
for Uganda in general.
Those are our intentions.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.